So it's rather lightly staffed at the moment because everybody's on holiday. Kate's just returned from holiday and is at Theatre by the Lake doing live reporting. So I'm kind of handling all the technicals as well as hosting today. So if there are no disasters, it'll be an absolute miracle, but bear with. Hello, Andrew. Morning, Antoinette.
Hello, Antoinette.
Morning, morning.
Damn it. If anybody, I'm not sure this applies to anybody, if anybody's new to the call, hasn't been on for a while, do stick in chat where you are and what you generally get up to. Good morning, Simon, who I had a very good chat with yesterday. And hello, Glenn. How are you? Coming and going. Morning, Chris. Oh, 9:30. Good morning, Neil. I'll give it 1 or 2 more minutes, but people keep flowing through, which is great.
Imogen's just going to find us some coffee. Any look? Yes. She's found some.
It's all right for some, having a personal assistant.
Not fair on Imogen.
So, do we know exactly where Tom is?
He's on a canal boat somewhere in South Wales. He's been going up and down a stretch of canal for the week.
Ah.
I couldn't tell you any more than that.
Okay. Well, hopefully he's having a lovely time.
I gather he is.
Good.
And I have had a lovely time in Malaga. No, not Malaga. I flew to Malaga and then up a mountain in a place called Mijas. And I just eaten tapas for 4 days solid.
In sunshine?
At like 26, 27 degrees. It was gorgeous.
Thank you very much. We all needed to know that. Okay. 2 for the price of 1 at Theatre by the Lake. There's Imogen. So yes, just to explain, as you've heard, Tom's on holiday, Kate's been on holiday, and Kate and Imogen are on the ground at the Anti Racist Cumbria Summit.
I'm sorry if there's noise disturbance in the background here. It's all very exciting. There's a lot of happy, excited people.
Good. We'll come back to it with a bit more detail in a minute. Anybody not familiar, I'm Chris Bridgman. I'm the development producer with Cumbria Arts and Culture Network, and I've failed to rename myself, but that's who I am. Usually Tom Spate hosts and produces these calls, but he's having a well-deserved little break. Normal service will be resumed next week. So this week we have reporting on the ground from Theatre by the Lake Anti Racist Cumbria Summit. We're going to look at an enterprise of the Norman Nicholson Society, book of new poems and associated artwork. And we're also going to hear from Rachel Ashton, who isn't quite with us yet, but will be shortly, who's the artistic director of Theatre Factory down in Barrow, about a ambitious and extensive project they've got running over the next 12 months to mark their anniversary. And here's the father of the house. Right, so Kate, can you just tell us exactly what is the Anti Racist Cumbria Summit? And you've been to all of the previous iterations, I think, haven't you?
I have been to, I think I've been to all of them. Yeah. So what is the Anti Racist Cumbria Summit? It is a massive gathering of people who want to be and are anti-racist. And it's also I would say, a celebration in many ways of Black culture and Black joy, actually. And it is a brilliant, brilliant day. So, yeah, this time it's taking a slightly different format. It's taking more of a sort of festivally type vibe. I think that's the word. With all sorts going on. So, and I also have Imogen here with me.
So, Imogen, what are you expecting or hoping for from the day?
I'm hoping to learn. I've done a wonderful training course with Anti Racist Cumbria before, and it was brilliant. And I felt like I absorbed so much from that. So I'm expecting a similar experience today. I'm just really excited to see the speakers and hear what they have to say, really, and absorb that.
So
how is this one different, Kate? Because I think it is a bit of a different beast this year, isn't it?
it's formatted differently, completely differently. So there's a big double-headed wigwam outside on the grass here, outside Theatre by the Lake, because there's going to be an arts and culture sort of literature tent out there. And instead of having just a succession of different speakers one after another, there's more of a sort of workshopy, festival-y approach where you can go around and see different things at different times. But I'm also expecting Emily Ford this morning, who's another one of the lovely young people who took up the offer of a place that has been funded by Anti Racist Cumbria and Cumbria Arts and Culture Network. So I'm expecting 3 special guests today. It doesn't actually start till 10:30, so there's plenty of time. It's going to be good, isn't it, to spend some time together and just, as you say, anti-racism is about learning why it matters and what racism looks like in Cumbria. But it's also, as I said, it's a celebration.
Yeah. And how to combat it, presumably.
Well, absolutely. And when we say learning, it's about learning what action you can take first and foremost, and what we can do differently. And actually, what we've asked the young people, including Imogen, to think about during the day is what you will do differently as a result of having been here today, because it is about action at the end of the day.
And those 3 free places fall under the umbrella of the See It to Be It project, don't they?
They do, because we wanted. I mean, See It to Be It is about understanding and seeing different cultures and different kinds of culture in Cumbria. So that's why we wanted to create the spaces. And thankfully, Anti Racist Cumbria were happy to sort of meet us halfway with the price of the tickets and make that possible for 3 young people to be here. So that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah. Excellent.
And shall I tell you a little bit about the lineup?
I was just going to say, can you tell us what you're most looking forward to today?
Well, I'm resisting the temptation to say lunch because lunch is fantastic.
It goes without saying.
And I am looking forward to that, and I would be lying if I wasn't. But I'm most looking forward to Lem Cisse, who is amazing. I've heard him speak several times before, and he's just, he's mesmerically good, and I can't wait to hear him. He's a poet, but he's also a kind of activist speaker. As many of you will know, this evening there's a comedy night as well, which they're doing differently for the first time. And the Nish Kumar is headlining that, who many of you will know is absolutely brilliant. And also Desiree Birch, another comedian who, you're staying for that night?
I am. Yes, I do not want to miss Nish Kumar.
No, won't that be brilliant? And in addition to that, there's a whole lineup of speakers like Kimberly McIntosh, and a whole range of authors, presenters, thinkers, speakers will be on various different panels. And there's an arts and culture panel, there's a literary tent. I'm also expecting an opera singer and a cellist. So it's going to be a feast of culture, as well as I fully expect it to be a really challenging day in many respects. Having been before, it really is. And what a time to be talking about the whole subject of racism and anti-racism. There's a lot going on. So I expect to leave it thoroughly exhausted. How about you?
I hope so.
Okay. Well, look, we might come back to you in a little while, but we'll let you get settled in with your coffee and find the other young people, and do hang around silently in the background while we talk to some other people.
Okay, thank
very
you.
much.
I shall continue to let people through the door because I
Oh,
can
thank you.
multitask.
Yes, if you can keep an eye on that, would be very useful, hopefully including Rachel Ashton. Right, we're now going to go to John Grieve, who is part of the Norman Nicholson Society. And they have an initiative which builds on or responds to a publication that Norman Nicholson made in collaboration with a textile artist. So John, if you'd like to come off mute, just tell us a little bit about that original Norman Nicholson enterprise.
Yes, and looking at the people who are here today, some of them are going to be far more familiar than I am with this. This is in regards to the pamphlet publication Stitch and Stone, A Cumbrian Landscape, which was published 50 years ago and was done by a small press in the northeast, Keelfrith, who asked Norman Nicholson for a collection of 6 poems, which are they did go on to be into Sea to the West and the collected works, but they did originate from this work, and they went alongside the embroidered landscapes of Kenneth Dow Barker, who was a self-taught pretty much artist and former miner and road worker, who then went on to produce these, and it is just a perfect little collection illustrating kind of I think in some ways it's even from 50 years ago, it was looking back in some ways for the embroidered landscapes particularly, and I think going Kenneth Dow Barker had a lot to do, I think, with horses and things, and through his family as well, and horse care. So they feature quite a lot within the illustrations as well, and obviously quite a traditional, a view of kind of the Cumbrian landscape of that time. So what we're doing, and it's the Old and Wiser Collective, which kind of came to the Norman Nicholson Society, was to look at, because of the anniversary, to look at not just an update, but a response to this work and a way of looking at what the Cumbrian landscape means to people now. So we have put out a call for work from poets and had a brilliant response for some brilliant works of poetry for that. And that has been put together, and that was presented first at the symposium for the Norman Nicholson Society at the end of September. But what we're doing now is moving on to the textile arts phase. And so Julia Garner is helping us collate that, and will probably be could be one of the artists that are going forward to the final work.
So just explain who Julia Garner is for anybody who doesn't know.
Julia Garner, kind of North Cumbria based textile artist, works very much with the Northern Fells group, and works in a number of media, but does some great kind of felted and hand-stitched works. And you'll see some of the examples in the illustrations here.
Yes, we'll come on to that.
And you get some great sense of the landscape within her works. And I think that was a good. I think.
Just winding back a bit, can you just explain what is Older and Wiser?
Older and Wiser is an art collective of some poets, and just as a way to kind of coordinate and produce this work, and it's a way that we can look to have a a compact project for applying for funding and for making this happen as a project. Yeah, because it's not just the Norman Nicholson Society, and it's not just a publisher that we would need. It's the kind of the group of artists behind the work for this.
Okay, and just to explain the sort of pun, it's older as in tree and wiser as in the river, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And okay, so you have the poems now, and you're now going to be working with Julia Garner. We can see some of her work here. So these are what she describes as sketches, ideas, but these are then more worked up works.
Yeah.
And
this is obviously kind of her view of a modern Cumbrian landscape, and we're looking for other artists to come in with what their view is of a modern Cumbrian landscape, and we've set into it that the only requirement is that the works should be textile based and should include some hand stitching, but they don't have to be traditional embroidery as such or anything in that way. There's a greater freedom in how the work is produced.
Okay. And so what's the process? The poems have been written and selected, and so
yes, they have.
So and the call out is now live for textile artists.
Yes. So the call out's now live for textile artists. We're sharing that as press releases at the moment. If anybody from the call is interested in the details of it, we're more than happy to provide them. Or if anybody's got any suggestions for artists, we can send them the briefs. You can then decide if you're going to participate for that. There will be an element of obviously a selection for which works can go into it, because we'll be constrained on how many works it can contain. We're looking probably for 6 artworks. We might be able to stretch it slightly, but that's the level we're looking at on that. And yes, there would be payment for the artworks or the use of the artwork selected.
And what's the time frame? How long have people got to get their artwork together?
Thank you for asking that. They have until we'll be looking to do that selection in June of next year, June 2026. Right.
So a reasonable time, but possibly not excessive for working up a full.
Yes. Yeah.
These are some more of Julia's, and just to demonstrate that it isn't always raining in Cumbria, there's slightly more cheerful version.
Yeah. There will also be a community element to this, so we will want to do some community projects. Jonathan will be already aware of this because we would discuss this in the Norman Nicholson Society. But we also look to do so that if people aren't wanting to produce a full work, there's the opportunity to produce some small work for this that will go into part of a community project, or if there's, and we've also got some further community project ideas if people are looking to host making something as a group as well.
Is there any idea that there might be an exhibition of the original artworks as well as publication?
Absolutely hope to, yes, and we absolutely hope to do that. We obviously are still fundraising for this project. I know we've got the funding in place for the payment for the poets and the artists in place, and we've got most of the funding for the publication of the book, but we're still fundraising, and that's the fundraising part we need, is to make sure we've got enough funds to be able to put on an exhibition. Well, a traveling exhibition is what I would like it to be, because of the nature of Cumbria. I don't want it to be in one location. I want to be able to do it in several locations, and yes, to bring the original artworks and the publication together as for those exhibitions.
Yeah, wonderful. I'll just stop screen sharing. Well, you could perhaps put in chat contact details for anybody who would like to know more.
Yes, okay.
Norman Nicholson website. Jonathan, because you're also involved heavily with Norman Nicholson, anything you'd like to add to that? Oh, he's gone quiet and invisible for the moment. Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Yes, it's a splendid project. Most, as John was saying, so it's a delightful book. You can get hold of it. It's several copies in Cumbria libraries to give you to show the dog the rabbit, as we don't say in Cumbria, of the beautiful work and both of Nicholson and Dow Barker. So it's a quite inspiring and worthwhile project.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on. Do stay with us. And I possibly will be coming back to you in about a year's time when the project has been completed. It'd be lovely to see that, and particularly if there's a associated exhibition as well. Just going to go back to Theatre by the Lake because Kate and Imogen have been joined by another woozle.
This is Emily Ford. Do you
Hello,
want to
Emily.
say hello? Yes, hi everybody. We've joined Kate at the Anti Racist Cumbria Summit, and we're from Queer Cumbria. So let's just.
And
This
hello.
is Merrick. Hi.
Hello, both. What are you particularly looking forward to from the day?
We're looking forward to seeing the Kaleidoscope exhibition. Because those guys, we know those guys, and they actually did the same exhibition in our gallery space in Carlisle.
Right.
So really proud of them for taking it here. So we can't wait to see them. We're excited to see Nish Cooper.
Sorry, just explain who Kaleidoscope is then.
So Kaleidoscope are a bunch of, they're like a global majority arts collective, and they're based in Carlisle, and they did an exhibition called Local, and it's about people always asking them where they're really from, and it's a really, really powerful exhibition, and they're just a bunch of like freelance creatives or creatives who have other jobs, and they've all come together to form this like global majority group, and they have like arts hangouts online and in person at our gallery space. They're really great.
Perhaps we should get them on the call sometime, and maybe you can take us along to show us the gallery at some point later in the call.
I would love that. Yeah, we'll get them on another time. It's all rather kicking up and here. Not chaotic, just jolly and lively. So excuse the noise.
I'll send an invite out to Kate to send to you all to come to the closet because we'd love to have you.
Explain what the closet is.
The closet is a solidarity art space in Carlisle, and it's right by the Citadel, by the train station. And it's called the closet because it's tiny, and we sort of do exhibitions and workshops and regular programming from there for emerging artists. We opened last year, and yeah, it's going really good. We've actually grown out of it. We need a bigger space.
What about the closet though?
No, to call it, I don't know.
A larger wardrobe, walk-in wardrobe.
Okay.
Right.
Well, we'll report back next week, Chris, when we've thoroughly enjoyed today, and we will ask Emily and Merrick and Imogen to feed in with some thoughts about what they've learned and experienced, and we'll take from today.
Okay, that's great. I'm just so I don't forget. I'm going to run the poll. If you've not been on calls recently, as part of the See It to Be It enterprise, which is all about engaging and promoting and supporting young people in cultural careers, we're doing a little survey to create a baseline of who comes to these Friday calls, but looking at the age demographic specifically. So if you wouldn't mind just responding to the little survey I'm going to put up, just click on that. There's 2 or 3 questions. I think it's age and gender identity, and we're hoping that over the course of time that the average age might drop a little, because it tends to be towards the higher end, shall we say. Not that we've got anything against people of mature years, as many of us are, but it's great to have.
We wanted to answer here. We wanted to I was going to not answer, and
Yeah. So don't you answer, Kate. Don't you answer.
We're going to do an average age of the three people here, but I can't because I'm host, which means I can't answer.
Oh, right, you can't. Okay, well, we can probably add that in
So
later.
disappointingly, we do have three people under 30 here. No,
I know. Okay.
disappointingly, we can't report that we have three people under 30 here. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, hurrah for that.
We'll probably manipulate the statistics later. Anyway, thank you all very much for if you've been doing that. 92% of you have participated. So if there's a couple more that haven't found the right button, it'd be nice if you can do that before we close. Thank you very much. Anyway, we're now going to go to the ever youthful Rachel Ashton, who is fresh from the gym, I believe, down in Barrow. Are you there, Rachel? Oh, you've muted again.
Yes, I am. Hello,
Hello.
everybody. What a delight to see you all. Hello. Some new faces to me and some people I've known for a long time. Fantastic.
Rachel, just explain what Theatre Factory is to start with.
Okay. Theatre Factory is a small and imperfectly formed theatre company based in Barrow. We've been here for as long as I can remember, for 20 odd years, about 27 years we've been here. We say we're socially embedded, which means we work with anybody. And we think of ourselves as Indigenous theatre makers. So basically we don't do existing canon, we don't do musicals, we don't do Hamlet, we make new stuff.
Right. And the Inclusion Festival, which is what we're mainly here to talk about, explain what and why.
Okay, so it's a cycle of 10 plays over a year. I love a Chaucerian cycle. I love Chaucer, and that, you know, the Canterbury Tales is lots of stories from lots of parts of lots of communities. And there's something magnificent about that. It's a portfolio. I love a portfolio. So I've not my first rodeo. I've done 2 of these cycles of plays in the past. One for the Millennium, which was called Barramundi, 9 plays in 3 days. And then 3 years later, I did True North, which was 7 plays in 3 days. Nearly killed us. So we decided,
to do 10 instead.
Yeah, we decided to do 10 over a year. So it was actually Glenn from Full of Noises in Barrow who talked about slow festivals. And I thought, what a marvellous idea. So we're doing it slow and steady over a year. And IF stands for Inclusion Festival. And it includes everybody. Sort of. What we're trying to do is reflect Barrow back to itself. So each of the 10 plays comes from a different demographic. We sharing.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Just scroll through to the next screen, could you?
I'm just trying to get there. We go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Can we have the next? Oh, there we go. Yes. Look at that. Oh, hang on. Go back one. There we are.
There's the script.
Yeah, it's a festival of stories by, for, and with the people of Barrow, all ages and genders and races and abilities. So why? Well, the reason why is at the last round, Theatre Factory is an NPO, we're a national portfolio organisation. We're quite small. At the last round of applications, we decided to go for an uplift. We'd been pootling along on the same money for a long, long time. We're absolutely up against it, strapped for cash. And we got one. But, you know, nothing comes for nothing, does it? Really what I needed was an uplift to do the same work that I was already doing. But actually what happens is they go, yes, you can have more money and you need to do a lot more work. So I came up with the idea of the festival. If we behaved ourselves, if we could listen to other people, if we could get on together. Yeah, that was behind it. That was my thinking. Let's get people together and listen and hear the stories, because I don't know about you lot, but right now in Barrow, it's a bit of a divided community. we've got all sorts of issues. A lot of people think it's the fault of the brown people and the black people, but I don't buy that. I think it's the result of years and years and years of neglect and austerity. And it's shot at all our public and local services. Don't get me wrong, if you're in BAE, you will earn magnificent wages. There are days when I think I'll get my CV in and I'll go there and, you know, job done. But actually, it's just another thing that divides us. There's so
But
many flags.
I see they are contributing to this project, though.
They are. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure they are. I'd have a lot more if they give it me, quite frankly, because their money can start serving this community in a different way. You know, not everybody agrees. Some of the organisations in Barrow won't take their money, but I will, because I think we need something giving back, frankly. So the first of the 10 shows, which kicks off in November, Armistice Weekend, is 25 words. Now, when you, most of the festival is real stories. So we're calling it a love song to Barrow, warts and all. So a lot of it is verbatim. It's all, you know, if it's not real stories, it's based on consultations and conversations. So I'm not making all this up. It's come directly out of the community, and the community are performing it, by the way. We've got a handful of professional actors working with us, and the rest are local performers, and there will be around about 80 people perform. Some of them are in the choir, the Northwest Music Academy's Barrow Rock and Pop Choir and Barrow Posh Choir are combining to sing for us in a number of the pieces. So 25 words. How do you decide whose stories to tell? We did a gig in 2023, and at the end of the performance, I got up and I asked the audience if they had any stories they might think would make good theatre. And this elderly gentleman came to see me, Jeff, and he goes, "Oh, I've got a story." And part of me thinks, "Oh God, what is it?" So we sat down, we had a brew and a biscuit, and he told me this astonishing story about his father during the war. He was captured at the fall of Singapore and then was torpedoed and floated around in the South China Sea for several days before being rescued by an American submarine. BAE builds submarines, that's why their money is in this show. Yeah, they did say to me, "It's not going to show submarines in a bad light, is it?" I said, "Well, yes and no. It's a submarine that sinks the ship and it's a submarine that rescues the men." So, but why choose this story? You know, everybody's got a story about World War II. Every family in this Zoom room will have been affected in some way by World War II. But this isn't a story about a family, it's a story about Barrow, because it's a story about how Barrow were cohesive as a community, how they came together, mucked in, raised money, supported each other through the worst of times. So it is a story of love, hope, and resilience. We have issues with community cohesion here. We don't make political theatre factory, but I kind of felt we had lots of discussions within the company about what theatre makers are here to do. Are we here to just entertain people? Yes, we are. But I felt the time had come to kind of stand up and talk back and take back some of the conversations that are being hijacked. Yeah. So although it's in many ways it's a very patriotic show, it's also a show which primarily shows a community working together. This one is about money. So in January, are you broke in January? I know I am. So we've got a double bill in January of shows about money. Poverty is something that folk don't talk about much. It's embarrassing. It's taboo. Attitudes to debt are taboo. That people judge. And we thought, well, let's look at it a different way. So this is a story about the strapline for this is there's worse things than being poor. It's about two sisters and their attitudes to money and to debt and to materialism, really. Okay, we couldn't get people to talk to us about it. And then fortunately, we found one very brave woman who was prepared to sit down with us and tell us about her life. So it's based on her life. Okay. Crack on, Chris.
All right. Now, the phrase that's leaping out at me is explores poverty in a positive way.
Yes. Yes. It's about resilience. It's another show about resilience. Most of these are about resilience. You're not going to lie. Follow the money. We've already done this. This is a restage. This is about the women who worked in banks in Barrow. Now, that sounds a bit niche, doesn't it? But actually, it's about the changing role of money in all our lives. It was written by two women from Barrow who did work in banks in Barrow. It's about the history of Duke Street and the way that women's employment has changed. It covers the shipyard strike and the role of banking in the shipyard strike, when the cashiers from Barrow Bank supported the striking ship workers in a way that it's hidden history, this stuff. So Enid and Carmen wrote this. It's a musical. It's very funny. Do come and see it. It's really, it really is. Again, it's not just about women working in banks. It's about money and how it rules our lives. You know?
Where are these shows taking place?
Oh, okay. I'm glad you asked that. This one and the previous one, Life Hacks, are both in a working men's club, the Kill one. It involves a pie and pea supper and a retro disco, so do come along because we like to feed people at our gigs. We think it's important. 25 words is in the town hall because the forum's closed because it's full of asbestos.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we learned that last week when Tom was down for the weekender.
Yeah, okay. Next. All right, so driving into Barrow is like driving up the Shankill. There are so many flags. There are so many flags. You will know about the building of South Lakes Mosque, Islamic Centre. It's nasty at the moment. Yeah. So we thought, well, let's talk about it, shall we? So we're doing a show about immigration from all points of view. I absolutely stop at blaming brown people for paedophilia. I won't go there, but we do have the voice of people who worry from an austerity point of view. Will we have enough houses? Will we have enough hospital beds? Because those are in some ways legitimate questions. This was based on 170 interviews with asylum seekers and refugees in Barrow-in-Furness. It's been written by Kevin Fegan, who is no stranger to this town. He's worked here a lot, and he's also very, very adept with biographical material. So the gentleman there is Morgan, who is a semi-professional actor. He's a refugee. He's from Botswana. And we were doing this with the Multicultural Forum. All our work's in partnership. And it's the story of 5 refugees. It's the story of Barrow people who welcome refugees. And it's the story of Barrow people who don't welcome refugees. We want to bring people together. The Rock and Pop Choir will be in it, and they will bring their audience, and the Multi will bring their audience. So we are bringing people together in the same space. I'm not going to lie to you. We're nervous. You know, we've had all sorts of exterior intervention in Barrow in terms of right-wing activism, and there've been a lot of threats to a lot of people. So fingers crossed, we'll be all right. Do come and see it, please. This is in Barrow Town Hall in March. Next.
Brave but necessary.
Yeah, we think so. Actually, just quickly about SAPA, a local councillor is going to perform in it, and he's a Labour councillor, but he's performing as a thinly disguised UK Reform councillor going for nomination for the post of MP. And he read the script and he said, we've waited for this, Rachel. So hopefully it'll be all right. The next two pieces are young people's shows. They've been written by young people. Two of our emerging artists, Matt King from Dalton and Kyra Scott from Kendal, under our Generation Z Artists Commissioning Scheme. This is in partnership with Horizon Studios. It's about young men and mental health, drugs, alcohol, and Andrew Tate. Because we're doing it in partnership with Dowdale's and St Bernard's schools. So it'll go into a school again. It's a rap musical, this. Well, sort of R&B really, rather than rap. UK Garage, I'm told. It'll have a cast of professional and non-professional young men, and it's about how young men deal with grief and their emotions, their sexuality, and all that good stuff. And its partner piece, if you'd just like to click on, Chris, is The Girls. The unboxing. We're doing this in a bar. So about a year and a half ago, we had a girls' night out. It's one of the very, very few women-only evenings that I've seen in Barrow. In fact, I haven't seen any other. We put on free cocktails, sharing platters. It was curated by some young musicians and actors, women. And Kyra Scott's one-woman show was the centrepiece. And we used it as a consultation to talk to 60 women of all ages about what they thought, really, what they thought about life, about Barrow, what they were sick of, what they wanted to see more of. And for the gentleman in the room, I'm sorry to say, he didn't come out best. There was a lot of women there going, I am just sick of this behaviour, this behaviour, this behaviour. A lot of it was about being controlled and not wanting to be controlled anymore. It was about body image and being fat shamed and all the rest of it. So Kyra took that information and she went away and she's written a one act. So this is going into a club, into a nightclub bar, with a load of women musicians and a lovely, mature, shall we just say, mature actress in her 70s who was in the very first production of Blood Brothers. We are delighted to have Ethne Brown with us. It's very funny and it's deeply, deeply touching. Two women from different generations talking about what it is to be female and to have a female body. So it should be a good night. Okay, cracking on, Chris. How long have I got?
So yeah, you got another. Yep, fine. We're all right for time.
Okay, so for the past few years, we've been doing queer cabaret. I can only afford to do it once a year, and we love it. They're very popular. They always sell out. We showcase, at the heart of it is always lived lives, the lived lives of queer people in the Furness Peninsula. Queer stands for queer if. So we're going to do a two-nighter. It'll be the 6th and 7th of our cabarets. So it's going to be, let's talk about 6, and 7 must have sent you. They are usually, well, they're cabaret, so it's a mixture of locally made stuff, a little bit of stuff that I buy in from that London. So drag queens, drag kings, slam poetry, music, short films, loads of stuff, but always at the centre of it are true life stories, because true life stories is what we do at Theatre Factory, because we like to hear people's stories. Okay, so that's in May, just in advance of Pride. Next, we've got 2 children's shows. So children and young people. Our youth theatre are 50% neurodiverse. This will be about that. It will be about growing up neurodiverse. The Great RU Theatre. Their shows are always completely bonkers. Their work is like no other youth theatre I've ever seen, ever. So if you want a laugh, come to that. These are in June, July. And the kind of sister show to this, if you click forward for me, Chris, is a show that we've already staged. So it is a restage. This was made with young carers, with children who have caring responsibility. We made it in partnership with Furness Carer Support. Yeah, it's got a mixture of professional and non-professional actors in it. And it's another secret hidden world. The world of children with siblings, and sometimes parents, but largely siblings with additional needs. And those children, those carers, are the unseen children. This took 18 months to make, because when we first started working with the children, the last thing they wanted to do was talk about the problems of their lives. And it took a long, long time, and a lot of other activities like animation and drawing and just running around in costumes before anybody came out with anything that was substantial. But eventually they did, and eventually they started talking to us. Whenever we do any of this verbatim work, part of the process is we go back to the group. We say, is this what you meant? We go back with a script. We go, do you want to change it? We workshop it with those people so that we absolutely have the authentic voice and permission, actually. That's what it comes down to, permission. Finally, the last show, 67,000 Barrovians can't be wrong, although we know some of them are, but we're going to say they're not. If you stand in front of a mosaic, it's just a load of little squares, isn't it? But when you step back away from it, you see the picture. So this is 2 days, two evenings of micro theatre. There's also an exhibition goes with it. We thought, let's just interview people. So it's little interviews with people. Some of them are dead now. Some of them are still alive. All of them are, no, actually, not all of them are well known in the community. Some of them are entirely unknown. But all of them have something extraordinary about them. Now, you could say all of us are extraordinary, and you'd be right. But so, for example, there's a piece about a man who collects, and has done this all his life, collects old dinky toys and restores them. And he has thousands and thousands and thousands. And it's been the thing that has helped him through brain injury, through mental ill health and physical ill health for many, many years. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece, performed by our very own Toby Gaffney of this parish, of the parish of Cockermouth, in fact. There's an interview we did an interview with a 96-year-old lady who ran the sweet shop in Barrow that everybody remembers, the Bonbon. Everybody over the age of 30 remembers the Bonbon. And she's 96, and she lives in sheltered accommodation. And so, yeah, and from there to, like, Barrow's most famous DJ, who spends most of his time in Ibiza and Amsterdam, who's virtually blind, Gripper, who set up Barrow Underground Music Society. There's a piece about him in Las Vegas. The whole thing is narrated by the angels of Barrow, who are, of course, the seagulls who fly above us, who steal our dinner and shit on us, but they know everything, the seagulls, because they see everything. So the seagulls comment like a Greek chorus on the changes that have happened here, on BAE, on the number of cars, on Dave Day, on the litter and the boarded up shops.
Nope, sorry.
That's it.
Oh, there we
So,
go. Right.
Yeah,
And where does that? Oh, I'm seeing that the venue has to be confirmed for that last one.
yeah, we're hoping it'll be Art Jean
All
that I
right.
can persuade Maddie to let us in to the
Mm.
big gallery, but we'll see. The kids' shows are in the library. Yeah, I should have said. So that's it. It's a scary amount of work. Do come and see us. Check out the website. And yeah, there you go. Any questions?
Yeah, put your hand up or just shout. Anybody got any questions? Massively impressive, and it's a bit of a trek from here, but it looks like well worth the journey. Every single one of those shows in all their glorious variety.
We aim to have fun,
Yeah.
you know, because we're trying to, what we're trying to do with all this is support people's mental health and build some kind of community cohesion here, because it's bad at the moment.
Mm. Well, all power to your elbow, and it looks like an exceptionally exciting, if completely exhausting program.
Yeah, that's why I go to the gym.
And Andrew Deakin, who used to be in that area but has
Yes.
fled to the sunny uplands of South Scotland, said, lovely to see this festival come to fruition. Nothing quite like Theatre Factory or Barrow for that matter. Fantastic work.
No questions for me.
It appears not. You seem to be comprehensive.
Oh,
I just
well.
want to but I'm just trying to have a quick scan of the chat. Kate and the younger people have gone to enjoy the summit. What I would like to do is just bring in Stephanie Screet. There has been reference in the chat to the exhibition at Reg Ed. And Tom, I think, is going to be featuring this next week, but maybe Stefan, if you can just explain what that is and what went on last night.
Yeah, sorry, I'm reeling from that. Rachel, wow, boom. Maybe I'll move down to Barrow to see it all. Just fantastic. Last night was very exciting. It was absolutely rammed. There were many more people than Claire Logan-Stevens anticipated attending the viewing of this new exhibition that will be on for the next few months at Reg Ed, called 25 Years and Onwards, or 25 and Onwards. So it's a retrospective exhibition of quite an impressive group of established artists exhibiting there. I think the idea was to invite back people who just had exhibitions there in years gone by. 25 years of Reg Ed, wow. But at the end of the gallery space, in their own room, which is rather brilliant because it's a nice way of focusing it, are 4 young artists who are chosen, shortlisted from, I think, 40 applicants. So 4 young emerging artists who are on display there. Ophelia Appleby, M. Whiteford, Libby Gallagher, who is a textile artist, and Oscar Fenner. And 2 of them were up for a bit of a chat at the speechifying that happened at the opening. M. Whiteford and Ophelia Appleby had a chat about their work and feelings about being part of the exhibition. I didn't have time to look at the work, so I'm going to go back and have a good look, because it's a very packed exhibition with some I had a glance at some stuff, but it's one of those that I would highly recommend going to see. And of course, the brilliant thing there was to be able to promote, celebrate, flag up, see it to be it. And so having 2 young emerging visual artists to speak to and to by way of example was really a great pleasure last night. And I did get a show of hands from the room, 100, 200 people who had heard of CACN, and not all the hands went up. I was horrified.
But they have now.
Well, I did say to everyone with hands up, look at those that don't have hands up and have a chat to them, be ambassadors, spread the word. So yeah, a great celebration, very, very buzzy evening. But I can but say, go and see it, as I will be.
Excellent, thank you. Yes, CACN going viral, I think, is the key thing. And thank you very much for that nice segue into See It to Be It. I just wanted to do a little brief update on that. So before everybody went on holiday, we had an extremely busy week interviewing for various posts and panels. We've now got an advisory panel of young, genuine actual young people up to the age of 30 who are going to bring their views, insights and ideas to the development of the See It to Be It project over the coming couple of years. That's going to be facilitated by Simon McGilligot from the Knotted Project Theatre Company, and they'll be having their first meeting next week. I think probably we will sort of, you know, formally announce who's on that. And we've also appointed a young trainee producer to work with CACN. So we are being it, so you can see it. It's the first of many paid opportunities for young people that will be coming up through the See It to Be It project over the coming years. Just had a quick glance at chat. Lots of praise for Rachel and your enterprise. And on the yes, Antoinette, going back to the Norman Nicholson project, the Stitch and Stone pamphlet, he was the embroiderer Kenneth Dow Barker, an ex-miner and roadman who taught himself embroidery because of an accident that disabled him. So it was initially a form of self-therapy, but he became a noted folk artist with exhibitions in Kendal, Sunderland, North Cumbria and the V&A, and also he's connected with the LYC Museum. Antoinette, just explain the LYC Museum, as was his daughter-in-law, Audrey Barker. Are you there?
Yeah, I am here. So that was up at Banks in North Cumbria. It was a museum set up by Lee Yuen Chia, who was a noted artist. I think there have been Zoom discussions about his work before. So he set up a museum in an old farmhouse. You can find online all the artists who were connected with that, and you'll find the Barkers listed there. But there were also, you know, nationally known artists such as Ben Nicholson, Winifred Nicholson, and so on. So it was an amazing venture, and I think more and more attention is coming to that, and it's interesting to see that connection with something that looks quite humble, the Stitch and Stone embroideries, but he was part of a very forward-thinking artistic movement. His daughter-in-law, Audrey Barker, is a well-known disabled artist also, and there's been a Zoom presentation on her through CACN about 6 months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
A year ago, something like that.
In chat, fabulous exhibition at Kettle's Yard about LYC, and Polly Atkins has posted a link to the LYC Foundation where you can find out more about Lee Yuan Chia. And Rachel is yes, Rachel from Theatre by the Lake, I think, rather than Rachel Ashton, reminding everybody about Cumbria Fest. Lots of exciting new work from Cumbrian artists coming up shortly. I think that might be featuring on a Friday call possibly quite soon. That's very end of the month going into November. Okay. I am going to be wrapping this up in time, as is the tradition that Tom has very firmly established. But anybody else want to throw in anything that they want to flag up that people should go and see or do over the weekend? And yes, Helen made a film about LYC, which you can also probably track down. And we yes, this weekend there is the Glitch, which is the show from Theatre by the Lake produced by the Young Company as part of their 25th celebrations on Sunday afternoon and evening. And there's a free concert at Barrow Classical Music Foundation this very evening, Jonathan tells us. Okay, thank you all very much. Lovely to see you all. Tom will be back next week, and so I definitely know he's featuring the exhibition at Reg Ed. Not quite sure of the full content, but you will receive that in your email newsletter, which I hope you've signed up for. Thank you all very much. Have lovely weekends, and see you soon, I hope. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you now.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Bye. Thanks, Gemma.